welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're tackling something pretty fundamental, really key to how we connect with people. The language we use for our emotions.
That's right. And you've shared some interesting materials with us, some English language learning podcast scripts focusing specifically on emotions.
Exactly. So our mission here is to sort of pull out the practical bits, the vocabulary, the phrases you can actually use in everyday English
Mm.
to talk about feelings.
Mm-hmm.
We want this to be focused, efficient,
Mm-hmm.
helping you feel more confident and understood when you're expressing yourself.
And it's interesting, isn't it, how these learning materials actually give us a really clear, structured way into something that can feel quite, well, abstract sometimes.
Yeah, they really lay out the core ideas in a way that shows you how to use them, like in real life.
Yeah, very practical application.
Okay, so let's start by unpacking some of the basics. The scripts introduce these, you could call them core emotion words, the ones we use all the time,
Yeah.
like happy, nervous, angry, excited, and sad. These are kind of the essentials, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely, they really are. They're often the foundation, the bedrock for talking about all sorts of emotional experiences. And the scripts give pretty straightforward definitions.
Okay.
So, happy is feeling good, pleased, or joyful. Simple enough.
Right.
Nervous is feeling worried or a little scared. Angry means feeling mad or upset.
Got it.
Excited is defined as feeling very happy and full of energy.
Okay.
And sad is just feeling unhappy. What's interesting is even the definitions sometimes use slightly different words, hinting at the nuances.
Yeah, like pleased or joyful for happy. It's not just one thing.
Exactly.
And to really show how these work, the scripts give us these like simple, relatable examples.
Yeah, those are helpful.
For happy, it's I'm happy because I passed my exam.
Classic example.
Well-
Connects the feeling to an event.
Then for nervous, I'm nervous about my job interview tomorrow. Very common one.
Oh, yeah. We've all been there.
For angry, she was angry when her flight got canceled.
Definitely relatable frustration there.
Then excited, I'm so excited for the concert tonight.
Yep, feeling that energy.
And finally, sad. He felt sad after saying goodbye to his friends.
That sense of loss or separation.
So these aren't just words floating around. They're tied to real situations.
And what's really useful about those examples, I think, is how direct they are in linking the emotion to the why.
Right.
It's often how we actually talk. You don't just say, I'm nervous. You say, I'm nervous about, or I'm happy because...
They give the other person context, makes it clearer.
Exactly. Understanding.
Okay, so the scripts then move beyond just the single words. They show how emotions actually come up when people are talking. There's this short dialogue.
Ah, yes, the one between the two friends.
Yeah, I thought that was a really neat snapshot of, real emotional chat.
It really is. It starts with that simple but kind of crucial question. Hey, how are you feeling today? And the response is, honestly, a little nervous. I have a big presentation later.
And then the second friend says something like, thanks. I'm also a bit excited. I've worked really hard on it.
Right. So it shows both the nervousness and the excitement mixed together.
Yeah, and a few things really jump out from just that short exchange.
Yeah.
First, that opening question. How are you feeling today?
Mm-hmm.
The script points out it's simple, but also kind. It's more than just, hi.
Definitely. It signals you're actually interested, willing to listen on a slightly deeper level.
Yeah, opens that door, like
Yeah.
you said. And the reply, honestly, a little nervous.
That word honestly is interesting too.
It is, isn't it? What is that signal?
Well, the script suggests it shows openness, maybe vulnerability, trust between the speakers. Like, I'm giving you the real answer.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Being genuine.
Yeah.
And then there's that supportive phrase, right?
Huh.
After the friend mentions being excited too, the response is, that's the spirit.
Yes. A little phrase of encouragement.
The script says it's for encouragement. It's short, positive. It can actually give someone a little boost, can't it?
Absolutely. It's these little bits of language that aren't just about naming feelings, but about how we react to them in conversation.
Navigating the social side of it.
Exactly. Showing empathy, support, building that connection.
So building on that dialogue, the scripts then give a list of common phrases, ways to express your own feelings directly.
Right, like ready-made sentences almost.
Yeah, things like, I'm feeling a little stressed, or I'm really happy today.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I'm kind of tired. I'm super excited for the weekend, and I'm a bit worried about the test.
Mm-hmm. What do you think makes that list useful?
Well, looking at them, what stands out is the use of those little words. Modifiers.
Exactly. Like a little, really kind of super a bit.
Right. They add nuance. Is that the word?
Yeah, nuance, intensity. It's not just I'm stressed, it's I'm a little stressed. Or not just happy, but really happy.
Oh.
It paints a clearer picture.
It gives a sense of degree, how much you're feeling it.
Precisely. And
Yeah.
that's so key to sounding natural when you speak English, or any language, really.
Yeah, the script makes that point. Using these helps you sound less robotic, more like how people actually talk.
Definitely avoids that sort of stiff, formal textbook feel.
And it matters, right? Being able to say, I'm kind of tired or a bit worried is just, it's part of daily connection.
It absolutely is. It lets you share what's going on, maybe get a bit of support, or just feel understood by the people around you.
Okay, so we've got the basics, common phrases. Now let's dig into some slightly, maybe more nuanced emotions. The scripts also introduce these.
Mm-hmm. Moving beyond the big five.
Yeah, like relieved, frustrated, overwhelmed, lonely, and hopeful. These might not come up quite as often or maybe feel a bit deeper.
That's often true. They can describe more complex states or feelings that stick around longer. Let's look at the definitions provided.
Okay.
Relieved is feeling relaxed after stress goes away.
Ah, that feeling of, phew.
Exactly. Frustrated is feeling annoyed because something is hard or not working, like that computer example we'll see.
Right.
Overwhelmed is feeling like everything is too much.
A very common feeling these days, I think.
Sadly, yes. Lonely is feeling sad because you are alone.
Okay.
And hopeful is feeling positive about the future.
It's interesting how the definitions for these are a bit more elaborate sometimes.
They often need a bit more explaining, reflecting that complexity,
And again, the scripts give us examples to sort of nail these down.
which is always helpful.
So, for relieved, I felt relieved after finishing my project. Makes total sense.
Uh-huh. The stress is gone.
Frustrated. I was frustrated with my computer yesterday. We've all been there.
Oh, definitely. Technology frustration is real.
Overwhelmed. I felt overwhelmed with homework.
Yep, that feeling of drowning in tasks.
Lonely. He felt lonely after moving to a new city.
A common experience tied to a big life change.
And hopeful. I'm hopeful that next semester will be better. Looking forward.
Right. These examples really help ground these slightly more abstract feelings in concrete situations.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
And expressing these ones, like saying, I feel overwhelmed or I'm frustrated, that can sometimes lead to deeper talks, can it?
It really can. It might prompt someone to ask, oh no, why, or what's going on? The examples often hint at those underlying causes.
It invites a bit more connection, perhaps.
Potentially, yes.
Okay, so finally, the scripts wrap up with some bonus tips for expressing emotions clearly. I think these are great takeaways.
Yeah, some really solid advice there.
First one is simple. Be honest. It's okay to say if you're not feeling great.
Mm-hmm. That really speaks to authenticity, doesn't it? Trying to hide how you feel doesn't usually help build strong connections.
True. Being genuine when it feels safe and right is important.
Absolutely.
Second tip circles back to something we talked about.
Yeah.
Use those modifiers.
Yes. But a little, kinda, very...
Show the intensity. It helps you be more precise.
Exactly. A bit worried is very different from extremely worried. Those small words carry a lot of weight and meaning.
Definitely. Third tip is about listening. When someone shares their feelings, respond with kindness.
Crucial. It highlights that communication is two-way. It's not just about expressing yourself, but also how you receive others' feelings.
Even if they're negative emotions,
Yeah.
just acknowledging them matters.
It's incredibly validating for the person sharing, just knowing they've been heard.
And the last tip, it brings us right back to the start, really.
Mm-hmm.
Just asking, how are you feeling, is a powerful way to show you care.
It is. It seems so simple, but it really communicates empathy and interest in the other person. A small gesture with a big impact.
So as we kind of wrap up this deep dive into the language of emotions, wow, we've covered quite a bit.
We really have.
From those basic words like happy, sad,
Yeah.
angry,
Uh-huh.
to the more nuanced ones like relieved or overwhelmed.
And the practical phrases for actually using them.
Right, and those tips for clear, honest communication, it's all based on these language learning materials, but honestly, it offers insights for anyone, right? By connecting through language.
Definitely. What's really insightful is how these scripts break it down. They make emotional communication feel manageable. Starting simple, adding complexity, it's a solid way in for anyone wanting to get better at this in English.
Absolutely. So for you listening, maybe the next step is to actually try it.
Yeah.
Yeah, take one or two of these phrases we talked about. I'm feeling a bit stressed. I'm super excited, whatever fits, and just try using it next time you're speaking English.
See how it feels. See what happens.
Exactly. Observe the response.
And, that brings up a final thought for you to maybe reflect on.
Mhm.
How does being able to clearly talk about your emotions in any language really actually affect your relationships, your connections, both personally and maybe even professionally?
That's a great point. How does being more articulate about feelings maybe lead to deeper understanding, more empathy?
Something to think about, how clarity in expressing emotion can actually build stronger, more empathetic connections.